Recording, brother.
Okay. I am Dana. I'm going to do a class on 3D printing. So 3D printing, what it is and what it's good for. I'm not going to go dive deep into this stuff. It's there's so many ways to do it. There's so many different machines out there. I'm going to show you how we do it down here in the 719 area. Let's start with Chuck Hull. Chuck Hull was the guy who invented stereolithography back in '84. Basically, what that is it's a way, software-driven way to take a 3D object and to slice it very thin so that it can be put into a different type of machine, like a 3D printer, and it will extrude each layer and rebuild the exact same physical 3D image. He also developed the STL format that we use on most of our machines, and before this development, most fabrication procedures were done for removing material from a larger piece and making your final piece. I was trying to think of another way that wasn't using, piece removal or subtraction, but even if you were molding something like in a iron, like a block, an engine block, you have to have already modeled before you make the sand cast and then pour metal in there. But anyway, it's no big deal. This process is called additive manufacturing, and I covered that. So, what can you do with 3D printing? Well, obviously everyone knows you can make things, plastic things, but also you can use it for data visualization. You can use Legos, because I love Legos, but like this picture, I stole it from the internet because that's what we do. And this is the most used keys, and it's a 3D printed image of which key is pressed the most often. And I think that's pretty cool because instead of just manufacturing something or prototyping something, you're actually using a device to produce something visual as opposed to just having it on a screen. So it's pretty cool. And then prototyping, obviously you see me over there, is my CNC machine. I am trying to make this. This is the DEFCON badge I made for last year. This is mine. And I printed off, this is the gold version. You can see the little happy bow. And so for prototyping, I made plastic ones and I gave them out to my crew. But also I want to make metal ones, so I prototyped it into plastic and I saw, hey, this is pretty badass. So now I converted to the G code, and now I'm just trying to set up the machine right. And manufacturing with a CNC machine is time consuming because it's very tricky and you're breaking bits left and right. And I'm not going to say that I break bits all the time, but someone I know breaks bits all the time, and they're pricey to replace. So, near and dear to my heart is, amputations. You can use a lightweight plastic to, prototype and then actually develop and design body part replacements. So, a lot of people in Afghanistan, Iraq lost their legs, my buddies, and also just for pets. This guy, his quality of life is so much better just because someone decided to print out a kidney bean-shaped prosthesis, whatever. And I just think this is cool because it's all about bionics, and I love that stuff. So, and this is also cool. Back a couple years ago, I used to do brain surgery, and it was in one of our theaters of war. And when the guy gets shot in the head, basically we had to go in there and we had to cut out his skull, because it's got a bullet hole in it now. It's not good for anything. So we pulled it out and breathed the brain, got rid of all the non-viable tissue. And but what we had when we pulled out the skull was a hole. And we try to save as much natural material as possible, but just seeing this, and I could just go in there with my little calipers and measure his hole, and break the brain or skull part for him. So I think that's pretty cool. So manufacturing, right? We did data visualization. We did prototyping and manufacturing. It's kind of with prototyping, but with manufacturing, you're actually making an end product. So you have all these sectors of the economy, or whatever you want to call it, facets of life. Medical, like you saw, clothing. People are printing shoes. You got buildings, different type of 3D printers that produce concrete and produce a building in, a cookie cutter building in, a short amount of time and without any, human interaction. Well, not really interaction, but helping or human labor expanding. Food, I'm not sure how it tastes. You got vehicles, it's on the cover of the new Make magazine. You got how to print your 3D car. Nature, this is pretty cool because it's about redesigning coral reef, so you can repair damage. If reef's been damaged by boats or human shenanigans, then you replace this, and it rebuilds the whole ecosystem in that area. And then obviously here, I'm a soldier, retiring, but weapons. It's a very, it's a useful purpose for some type of things. And then, but my favorite one here is art. I mean, just for the fucking beauty of creating something that you can actually touch and see. So processes. I'm not going to go into this deep at all. There's a couple. There's 5 listed here. But the top one, extrusion, is the one we're going to talk about because that's what I use. That's what most of the MakerBots and replicators and everything else. That's a system they use. So it's a fused deposition modeling, and the materials used are thermoplastics. I use ABS plastic or anything that can be made gooey. So if you can soften it up, extrude it through a little pinpoint nozzle, and then recreate stuff. Thanks to Chuck Hull with his stereolithography. You can duplicate it. So, started back last year when DC719 was going to run this badass Wi-Fi geolocating contest within the whole Colorado Springs area. I figured, okay, why can't I just design a ring, even though there's no cipher on it, but a split level ring, the top spins one way, the bottom spins the other way, and just to have something cool. It's like hey, thanks for showing up, here's your badass ring. But, that fell aside and I got busy working and stuff. So this is the new ring I developed. I'd say probably last month, December. I wanted to give this presentation to my crew, and I wanted to bring them rings. But, shit happens. 3D printer didn't like it. But anyway, I found out that I did print one of these, and it was just too small. I mean, it was badass, but it was just too thin. It would have been a good pinky ring or for girls. So I totally redesigned it. But, this is the trial and tribulation I had to go through. Like this right here. My machine is a Fortis 250 MC. And, I mean, it's 300 degrees. This is, it uses two materials. Molding material and support material. And this is the envelope temperature. But, anyway, it's still warming up at 304 degrees. Come on, really? And I'm sticking my hand in there trying to replace the tips and nozzles. And it's just a big pain in the neck. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. But, I will give a class on how to how all the processes I used to get to this point. But that was a big failure, and actually I'm kind of glad it was a failure because the ring was shitty. So this is a really, really new ring. Okay? After I saw how that ring was printed, I said, okay, I want a more manly ring. And so I made it wider, made the smiley skull and crossbones guy fatter, And you know what? My machine fucking loved it. She printed out 20 or so different. I got 6.5 all the way to size 12 in half step increments, and it's badass. Everyone likes it that's seen it, and the detail it'll blow your mind because these, even though you can't really see it on this picture, you will see them in real life soon. But you know that high resolution is phenomenal. I'm pretty happy with it. This is my dog. I take him everywhere. He's not here right now though. But that's him just chilling around because you know this whole process. It's not like you're going to come up with a design. I use AutoCAD because I love it. I switched from 2013 to AutoCAD 2015 with this new ring because I wanted to, I'm a student somewhat, and I got the software and I wanted to, use it. So I taught myself AutoCAD 2015 with the new ring, and the process does take a long time. You got to CAD it, and then you have to, transport it into, with a USB thumb drive or whatever, into the other machine so they can convert it into the STLs, and the 3D printer will print it. But, my dog's just chilling because he likes hanging out in my office. It's a badass place. This one, Brophy, everyone loves robots, and I definitely love bipod robots, biped robots. But these are all the parts. I'm just waiting for some servos and everything else to come in so I can build them together because who the hell doesn't want this? Just wandered around all over the fucking place. Walk my dog, maybe. Or not. Dog would chew it. Dog would Tesla. And rocks. Like, why the hell would you want to fucking replicate rocks? So, I had a rock here. Same one in the picture. Same one. Fucking, I don't know, 7 pounds, whatever. Well, we can replicate them like this. Very light. We made something like this. It's a 3D scanner. Next engine right here, and we can replicate rocks. And you might say, well, why do you want to replicate rocks? Well, sometimes in the wild, you need to have rocks with, I'm not going to say video cameras or audio devices, but it could be helpful. So in my shop, we also do molding. This is obviously mold material. We have a vacuum extractor, so we can do hollow molds, and we can just put stuff in there that we want to put in there for whatever reason we want to do it. So we got rocks. And what else is there? 3D printing is pretty badass. I'm happy that, I was forced to learn AutoCAD back 2001, 2002, and I kept up with it, and I wrote some Lisp programs and whatever. And so next class, I'll give a little bit of introduction to AutoCAD. I'll see if I can get a free shareware version of AutoCAD or SketchUp or whatever, and go through a couple classes like that. But that's about it. I didn't want to go in too deep, but just this is something I love. I love creating something so unique and original. So thank you.